auto workers were fantastic. The Teamsters were fantastic.
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty good, I will tell you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're going to be very happy very soon, and you probably see what's happening with all of the, not only car companies, but car companies in particular. You see it with all of the ones they're moving, they're announcing day in, day out. You're seeing it. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. With today's actions, we're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world.
Mexico.
Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad, and then it gets up to 275, 300%.
Wow.
So when they're figuring what's Canada charging,
Bags
they say,
of milk.
about 2%, 3%. But take a look at what happens down the road. When you look a little bit, it's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it. It's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And with countries like Canada, you know, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year. And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say, you got to work for yourselves, and you got to, this is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that amount of debt that's been placed on our heads over the last number of years, and we're really not taking it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union bans imports of most American poultry. You understand? They say, we want to send you our cars, we want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything that you have. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want it because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight, I would say.
Did I miss anything?
And China charges American rice farmers an overquota, it's called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges 50%. Actually, they charge different, from 50% to 513%. And Japan, our friend,
Australia
charges a 700%. But that's because they don't want us selling rice and other thing. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? Agriculture, great job you did on eggs, by the way. The egg prices came down 50%. You got them down 50% once we got involved.
That's
they were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job. Now we have lots of eggs, and they're much cheaper, down about 59% now, and they're going down further. We charge 2.8% for so many things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, and 400% for. If imposing tariffs and protective barriers made nations poor, then every country on earth would be racing to eliminate these policies, and China would be the first on line. They run a very strong country, but they're not first in line, and the American people are paying a very big price. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation. The United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem.
Give it to me.
We don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have
Did Biden do the
been
Great
done. It took
Depression?
years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system
That's what I
is
thought.
rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable.
Good.
But we're getting smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries. We used to do it. We can't do it anymore. We take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of them any longer. But we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first. And I'm sorry to say that.
Thank fucking God.
And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first. In Sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States hemorrhaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, it was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map on, putting tacks on. We wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick. We have a tremendous problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Are you awake?
We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that.
Fuck?
And it was a business that we used to dominate.
Was it a nightmare?
Totally.
You even cried out.
In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations
How are you
that treat us
feeling?
badly, we will
We
calculate
must
the
be on our
combined rate
way.
of all their tariffs,
We made it this far,
non-monetary barriers,
thanks
and
to
other
you.
forms
You're the
of
first
cheating.
person to cross
And because we
this
are being
black
very
desert
kind,
with me.
we're kind people. Very kind.
Let's press onward.
You're not so kind when you
We're
got ripped
almost
off.
there.
Salaries of my auto worker friends and my Teamster friends, and all of the unions that typically
stand
voted
on the
Democrat, they're not
sands of the
voting
Black
Democrat
Desert,
anymore because worker, whether union
called
or
such for the
non-worker,
long
they're for the
buried black
Republicans now.
stones,
That's what happened.
whose supreme power
But we will
has
charge
captured
them
the attention of
approximately
many
half of what
nations.
they are,
Endless
have
war
been
has
charging
painted the
us. So
dunes with
the
blood.
tariffs will be
So some know it as the
not
Red
full
Desert instead.
reciprocal. I could have done that.
Ah,
Yes, but it would
our
have been
destination.
tough for a lot of
Let's
countries. I
hurry.
didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it.
That's
Could
a Tor's
you bring it up,
cradle.
Howard?
Let's have a closer look.
Great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick.
That's bald guy, right? Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh,
So,
it's
if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariff
really bad.
charged to the USA, including currency
Blood.
manipulation and trade
The traveler
barriers.
of
So,
ages shall awaken the
67%,
slumbering
I think you
heart
can,
with
for
their
the most
blood.
part, see it. Those with
Let
good
us
eyes,
perform
with
the
bad
ritual.
eyes.
The
We
knife.
didn't want to bring, it's very windy
Wait.
out here. We didn't want to bring out the
What
big
is
guns.
happening?
Had no chance to stand. Fortunately, came off with a small gun. So it's 67%.
Heir of
so we're gonna be
ages.
charging
Your
a
journey
discount
ends
on the
here.
reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think
That's reasonable.
in other words, they charge us, we charge them, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset?
Yeah.
They
Vietnam.
will be because we didn't have any
Apparently
Now
Mexico
we're gonna
roached
charge.
out too.
European Union, they're very tough,
Lesra,
very, very
you
tough
even brought a
traders.
mercenary.
You know,
Are you
think
so
of
desperate
European
to
Union,
sin?
very friendly,
I
they
will
rip us
not
off.
let their tired traditions tie me down.
It's so pathetic.
Don't worry about my secret.
39%.
Unleash
We're
your
gonna charge
power
them
upon them.
20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46%. Taiwan, they make all of
Mistress
our
Guardian.
computer chips and semiconductors. We used to
Foolish
be the king,
mortals.
Right? We were everything. We had all of it.
You're
Now we
not
have
hurt,
almost
are
none
you?
of it, except the
I
biggest
admire
company
your
is coming in. We're
resilience.
going to end up with almost 40%
Let's
lease
sacrifice
holdings
them to
working together.
awaken the giant.
And it's an amazing company, Mr. Wei,
Now, bring their hearts.
coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build the biggest plants, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%.
Impossible.
Japan,
It's moving
very,
on
very
its
tough.
own.
Great people. And again, I don't blame the people. I think they're very smart. I blame the people that sat right at that old office right over there. Right behind the resident desk, whichever the desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%.
It's awake.
Much higher for
The
certain
colossal
items.
weapon of the ancient kingdom of Kabua, the Atoll.
46%, we're charging them 24%.
That
India,
giant
very, very tough.
is the
very,
key
very tough.
to the ancient
4 more years
ruins.
of this, guys.
Prime Minister just left. He's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine. Treating us right. They charge us 52%. Yep, we say we charge them almost nothing. For
We
years
must
and
go
years and
after
decades.
it before it
was
finds
only-
the heart.
7 years ago, when I came in, we started with China and charged them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from
The ancient
China.
ruins of Histria lie somewhere deep
They
below this
understood.
desert.
Understood. President, she understood.
There, we'll find the
The other
power we
countries,
seek.
they all understand. We're gonna have to go through a little tough love.
A power
maybe.
so pure and
But they all
potent,
understand.
enough to
Rip
put
us
the
off,
black
they
stones
understood.
to shame.
Prime
With
Minister
such power, we
of
can
Japan
achieve what we both desire.
was Shinzo Abe.
Bro.
He was a fantastic man. He was
Man.
unfortunately taken from us, assassination. But I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to do something, and trade is not fair. He said, I know
brought
that.
him out.
I know that.
That's
He was
crazy.
a great gentleman.
It's been a
He was,
while.
A fantastic man, but
I wonder
he
if he
understood
saw the
immediately what I
memes.
was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting
Atoll.
there.
Take me to Histria.
Look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%.
Why is it not
Indonesia,
responding?
Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%.
Could this be another
We're
of
gonna
that
bring it
fossil
down to
cartoon's
49. They
tricks?
made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%. And we go 10%. So we'll do the same thing.
Yep.
South Africa.
What's the matter?
60%, 30%. And
Could
they've
it
got
be?
some bad
This
things going
voice.
on in South Africa.
Do you hear
And
it?
We're paying them billions of dollars to cut
Then,
the funding because a lot
come
of bad things
closer.
are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it. They don't want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%.
That's a lot.
Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking, not the full, we can take the full 88% back. It's doing a very good job. How's he doing? Good? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last forever. It's going to follow you down to the wind. I wrote a hat just in case But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart, and that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to have a minimum cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's
we've arrived at history.
A lot of bad things happening at the gate.
We'll have to part ways
so
soon.
Enormous that you're talking
Too
about.
soon,
There's
sadly.
never been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity.
Once I
there are a
hold
lot
the
of bad
hidden
things
artifact,
happening. The people
your
that do the
mission
check-in
will see its end.
They're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they look at people so good if they cheat.
Seems they won't make it easy.
Repercussions are gonna
Protect me.
Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. Right now, the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us, but so much over the last 4 years of the fight. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise
I'm glad to
was
have you
made,
by
and
my
it was
side.
also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises
Let's
made,
press
promises
on.
kept.
Through that door to our final destination.
To any company
The
that
ancient
objects
weapons
to
will
our
likely
common sense
rise to its
reciprocal
defense.
tariffs are getting reciprocal back. We would- I call
That I
this
know
kind
will prevail.
reciprocal.
You always do.
This is kind reciprocal.
This is
But
my final
What
request.
we do is we
I pray
cut it
that
in
you
half,
return
we
to me
charge them.
unscathed.
My answer is very simple. If they complain, if you want
Because, well,
your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America. And we've seen companies coming in like we've never seen before. Likewise to all of the foreign presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, ambassadors. Those who will be calling to ask for exemptions. Don't manipulate. You can even believe just how they can hurt you, devastate you. You start buying things in billions of dollars. Give our country protection against economic harm. And many people were looking to do an economic harm. Maybe not so obviously, but they were doing tremendous work. But even more importantly, they will because and it'll be something very special to watch. I am so looking forward to Ryan's $1 billion started. They already started work. Many of these the biggest companies in the world, they've committed to build. We're going to build, sir.
This all the
And they
videos.
came here
Are
to
you
see
injured?
me, and they came
No?
wanted to know if they
Good.
could have a press
I was
conference. I do as
worried.
many as I can. I'm pretty busy trying to stop Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. We got to stop that. We gotta stop the Houthis, which we're making tremendous. They like shooting ships down. Out of the
Worried
water.
that my precious key
They get a
might
kick
get
out of it, but they're not
damaged.
getting such a kick out of it now, are they, Mr. Secretary? They're not getting such a kick out of that now.
Yeah, apparently.
I was
Here
confused when I
just a
saw
short
the
list of
cradle
some of the
awaken on
companies
its
that
own.
have already announced and committed to investment in.
But when you
this is a
too
company
heard that voice,
built
it
its
all
factories
made
and its
sense.
plants in China. Apple is going
When
to
Cartian
spend
spoke of the key,
$500 billion. They
she
never
wasn't
spent
referring
money
to
like
her
that.
king.
Is
They're
that
gonna
new?
build their plants here.
The key was you.
SoftBank, AI, and Oracle, big great companies, are investing $500 billion. NVIDIA,
Oh,
my
black
company, is
spirits.
investing hundreds of billions of dollars. They just announced TSMC, the biggest, most important company in the world.
Come to me
Taiwan.
and begin
No
your
investment
journey
from us. He's
anew.
investing $200 billion, and he said the reason was number one, the election was November 5th, and number two, tariffs. Pay the tariffs, and the way they're not paying it is to build their plant
With
here.
this
So we're gonna
power,
go almost no
darkness
percentage.
will
We used to have
consume
100%
Nadir.
Now it's all in
Although,
And,
I do wonder
think
why
of
you
it, we
held
had
such power.
100%. We lost it because of people in
Alas,
that office that didn't
that
do their
story will
job.
never
They
be
allowed it
told.
to be stolen
Thank you
from us.
for
Johnson
all
&
you've
Johnson,
done.
great company,
Farewell.
$55 billion. Eli Lilly,
Oh, they made the
$27
ghetto
billion.
COVID vaccine.
Meta is investing $500 billion. Wow. DeMac is investing $20 billion. CMA,
It's like trillions of
CGM, $20 billion. And then you have Merck, Clarios, Stellantis, General Motors, GE Aerospace, Honda, Nissan,
Goddamn.
Hyundai are all putting in billions and billions of dollars, and they're committed 100%.
You can't pronounce the names?
And we've never had, and this is after 2.5 months. This is not,
about 5
this is
trillion.
after just a short, this all took place as soon as we came out with what everybody wanted to do. You know, I watched a gentleman today on television. He used to work with Lee Iacocca, a very respected automobile person, and he said, you know, because they're asking people, they try and get as many negative people as they can, but they can't find them too much. It's pretty hard to find in terms of what we're doing, especially when they see all this investment. They said, so tell me, what do you think of what Trump is doing from the automobile standpoint? He said, I can't believe it. Somebody is finally, he's an older guy, real pro, really top guy, with Lee Iacocca. He said, I never thought I'd see the day when this would happen, where somebody had the courage to go and do what has to be done. This is transforming our nation. Our entire nation is going to be transformed, not only with the cars, but on every single other item that's built. We're going to become an industrial powerhouse. And he said that so beautifully today. In fact, I'm going to find out, I'm going to get a tape, and Bruce, I'm going to get that tape, and I'm going to send it to you out in Long Island, and you're going to play it for the people. And all
Oh,
your
we get a new
union
video?
workers and your non-union workers out there,
All
you got
right.
a pretty even split.
Nice.
But we have, so far, it looks like we're going to have about $6 trillion of investments, and you wouldn't do that in years in this country over the last number of years. $6 trillion, and that's going to be much higher by the end of the year. And think of what $6 trillion is. We wouldn't have even a small percentage of that under this new system. It's going to be an entirely different country, and it's going to be fantastic for the workers. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. There will never have been a transformation of a country like the transformation that's already happening in the United States of America. It's an incredible thing to watch, and it's incredible to meet with the top people that you read about, very wealthy people, or people that are great managers and executives and presidents of big public companies, and to watch the enthusiasm they have now that they didn't have. They gave up on our country. They went to foreign countries and they built.
China.
Companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow, and it's really beautiful. In the coming days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special
I see
interests
you're awake.
and the fake news.
Nice to meet
Always
you.
fake news
My
will
name
always
is Eden.
complain.
I'm a
But
ruin. Huh?
never forget,
You forgot
every
we found-
prediction our
Look,
opponents
come
made
hither.
about trade for the last 30
Now,
years.
I would
has
love
been
to hear
proven
your
totally
story,
wrong.
but I was hired
They
to
were wrong
excavate
about
the ruins
NAFTA.
down below.
They were wrong about China.
Since the princess's
They were
prodding
wrong about
eyes are...
the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs.
No jobs.
It was all going to other
That's it.
countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest
You scared
economy
the
in the history of
daylights
the
out of
world. And
me.
again,
Are you
I
new
have great
here?
respect for
Who
President
said you
Xi of
can't?
China, great
What
respect
is
for
this
China,
nonsense?
but
When
they
did
were
you
taking
start
tremendous
speaking?
advantage of us, and I commend them for that. I say,
person.
hey, you can get away with
Come,
it. That's
I'll
okay.
teach you all you
But,
need to
you
know.
know, they understand exactly what's happening, and they probably, most of them are saying it's about time they did something, but,
speed,
and they're going to fight, they're going to fight fair. Everyone's going to fight. You know, it's like, I say to the leaders, look, you got to take care of your country, but we have to start taking care of our country now.
the stench.
We can't do what we've been
How dare
doing
you
for the
stand-
last 50 years.
Now,
From
do you know
today,
how-
I shall
of my election, the stock
compel
market
you to
went up
ask
in
such
my
an
first
obvious
term,
thing.
88%.
No, we told you.
With
Eden was
NASDAQ
hand
going up
I shall punish you for your
155%
suspicions in time.
more
For now,
than
just
any
concern your-
president
Yes,
has
I shall.
ever
Ruins
had
excavation
in any
starts
term
with picking
in
up a
office,
pickaxe.
by
It's a simple
far.
task. So go to the soldier
Is that
below
going
one.
down?
And I think we're going to blow that away, and maybe the numbers won't show, but I think they're going to show much better than even those numbers, but what you're going to see is you're going to see activity that empty, dead sites, factories that are falling down. Those factories will be knocked down, and they're going to have brand new factories built in that place. They're not only talking about renovating, they're talking about brand new, the best anywhere in the world, the biggest anywhere in the world. And a friend
You see those hungry wolves stalking about in the
the
grass?
biggest and the best. He said, well, we have to go to Mexico.
Horses won't budge
He
thanks
said,
to
I
that
want to see
steering
the
wheel.
United States. He said, we're not building it. This is a year and a half ago the campaign. He said, we're not building it. We have to go to Mexico. When I was starting to decide to run, and I went to number one in the world as a herd in the first hour. And then shortly thereafter, the fake news was saying, oh no, don't
Weren't you
do
an
this.
ex-
What they don't know is
Right,
that
thank you.
they would have really been in trouble because nobody wants to read them anyway. But I tell you what, when it looked like I was going to win, I announced that I was going to be doing exactly what we're talking about today. Great consistency,
Don't
actually,
brag,
because I've
leave
been
your-
talking about
Take the
because I saw what was happening 40 years
Just
ago. If you look
listen
at my
to
old
us speak,
speeches when I was
catch wind of the
young,
temper.
very handsome. My old speeches, and then people would say, it'd be on a television show, I'd be talking about how we were being ripped off by
Yeah, I
these
seen it on
countries. I mean,
YouTube.
nothing changes very much. The only thing that changed were the countries.
I've much more
Nothing really changes.
every time I
But,
make a discovery
you know,
like
it's
this.
such an honor to be finally able to do this. If you look at China, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in my term. Hundreds of billions. They never paid 10 cents to any other president. And yet they paid hundreds of billions, so much so that Biden couldn't do anything. They wanted to try and terminate it because he had a very special relationship with China. You know what the relationship was? He had a special relationship. But the numbers were so big, that they couldn't do it. They eased it up. They did things that they shouldn't have done and made it a lot more comfortable for them, but they couldn't do it.
You
The
are
numbers
not
were
dabbling
hundreds
in
of
forbidden
billions of
texts from
dollars that I
such a
did
young-
that. And on our way to doing something like incredible. And then we had a very bad election happen, a very bad election, a lot of bad things happened. So
What about it?
when I said we got to do it again, I said we have to make it too big to rig, and we made it too
Are
big
you
to rig.
awake?
We won in records, and it was a monumental win. It was such an honor to see
These are
so
the
many
memories
you,
of the
like Brian,
forgotten
your friends,
world.
here with us to celebrate, and to more importantly celebrate what we're doing, because that wouldn't be a full celebration if we didn't.
Sorry,
Because this
but
would be
you
an
should have
entirely
known
different
better.
country in a short period of time. It would be something the whole world will be talking about. And the critics made the very tired predictions earlier this year, but in February, core inflation dropped to the lowest rate in 4 years. And the price of eggs, as you know, just in a month and a half,
Go see the eggs.
we were there for 4
Your face
weeks.
suddenly turned bumpy.
And
I
Getting
The
threatened.
relic
for
probably
eggs. I said,
awakened
I
after
just got
reacting to your...
They said eggs have gone up at like 250%, and you can't get eggs. And they were going crazy, and I said, I just got here.
Wow.
And then we got to work on eggs. We got to work on everything, and our great Secretary of Agriculture, he did a fantastic job. Brooke Rollins, she did a fantastic job.
The
As I
chicken
said
is
before, the
gone.
price of eggs dropped now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It was an amazing job. Thank you. Okay. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot. And energy costs now are down, groceries are down, gasoline is way under $3, and
Is
people
it?
are
Is gas
beginning
down
to
for you
be able
guys?
to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down. We created 10,000 already in a few weeks, new manufacturing jobs, and it was that took place in 1 month. Numbers that they haven't seen in a long time. With virtually no inflation under my term. We had virtually no inflation for 4 years, but after transitioning over to sleeping pill, went from almost non-existent to the highest in the history of our country. In the highest in the history of our country. Brought up by energy, bad spending, and bad bad policy.
That's really bad.
A lot of bad things happened. How about allowing millions and millions and millions of people into our country with open borders, where it's so sad. And I see our great secretary of you have done. Stand up, please, Christy. Stand up.
Oh, is that really?
And Tom Homan. These people are doing a great job, but gotten them out in records. We have problems with judges that don't want them to go out. They want Tren de Aragua, and they want MS-13, the most vicious gangs
just send them out
ever.
anyway.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yep.
Absolute killer gangs. They kill people. They don't even think about it. And we put them out, and we have judges now, radical left judges that want to. They don't want them to go out. They want them to even be brought back. Let's bring them back. You've done a fantastic job, and please thank
You're gonna
everybody.
get rid of the judges.
Homeland Security. Thank everybody. Appreciate it. And we now have a border that's the best border that we've ever had. Even better than it was.
I knew it!
My first term. We
think
did
that
good, but this
alone
one
will
we
ease
really
up?
specialized in. We did really well. And we had records then. We had the best, safest border 4 years ago. We had the best border there ever was. And now we have, you've actually matched it and
Update, do you know?
get it down
It's a bit
the right way. We
inconvenient.
want people, by the way, to come into our country, but we want them to come in through a legal process. We want them to come in legally. We need more people. We need people to run these plants and to help the auto workers and the Teamsters and the non-union people and everybody else. But we need people and the farmers. And we're going to let people come in, but they want to come in. We want them to come in legally. They have to have the capability of loving our country, not people who hate our country. We want them in our country. And now we're going to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that's where we're relying on Mike. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and Democrats will, because if they cut it, the economy would collapse. This country is heading for collapse.
Wow.
Under the people. Horrible. I think one of the reasons people like the job, I have my highest approval ratings because I think they're comparing administration in the history of our country.
Jesus.
Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Senator John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. And I'd like to name it that if you can. One big, I made that statement. Everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill. And it will be the big tax cuts, every incentive there is.
25-hour crash out.
Fantastic. And by the way, for the cars, we're asking for if you build the car only in America, we do it, Brian. If the car's not built in America, you don't get the interest rate deduction. But if you build the car in America, you buy it built in America, then you get an interest rate deduction. It's a big thing. It's up very quickly. Deduction never happened. We've never had it. I think that would have happened. It never did, and I'm very happy it didn't because now I can say that was my idea. But we're going to get us closer to the debt extension. We have to get the debt extension passed, and I know you're going to be able to do that, Mike, and it's very important. The other thing is the Senate budget plan. Together, we need to get our share of tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, so much more. Recovering will be phenomenal. There'll be no bill like this going to straighten. One bill is going to straighten out our country for many, many years to come. And we said, let's just do it and let's get it done. And some guys will love it. Some guys will like it a little bit less because they're not getting what they were exactly looking for, but they're getting a lot. They'll never, if we get this done, it'll be the most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress. The Senate, the congressmen, the senators, and the congressmen, many of whom are here today,
That's
can
pretty
be very
good.
proud of themselves. I really believe that it's going to set us on a whole new prosperous path.
Really good.
We're going to cut spending and right-size the budget back to where it should be. We're going to do that very strongly. Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
No more
John,
money for
you.
trans
Look at all of our senators.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
It's over.
That's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done. That's a great group, and Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous people. The Senate plan is my complete and total support, and the House plan likewise is very similar. They're moving along pretty much at the same clip, and as soon as you're ready, you'll show it to me, and I'm sure you'll have my support. Every Republican congressman and senator must unify. We have to unify. We can't be separated. We have to get it done. We have to get absolutely everything we can, and we have to take care of the American people. That's the only thing that matters. We have to take care of the American people first. We need to pass this bill immediately, get it done, including debt extension. From this day on, we're not going to let anyone tell us that American workers and families cannot have the future that they deserve. We're going to produce the cars and ships, chips, airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America. The pharmaceutical companies are going to become roaring back. They're coming roaring back. They're all coming back to our country, because if they don't, they got a big tax to pay. And if they do, I'll be very happy, and you're going to be very happy, and you're going to be very safe. We're going to build our future with American hands, with American heart, American steel, and we're going to build it with American pride like we used to. We're approaching our 100th day as president, and have been given credit by a lot of people, actually.
The best 100
Even some
days
of the
ever,
fake
right?
news, can you believe it? Which in this case hopefully isn't
Let me
fake.
guess.
For having done more in that time than any other administration in the history of our country in the first 100 days. I think we've had an amazing, in terms of what we've done, what we've gotten accomplished. I'd like to see if we can get that war ended and another war from not starting in the Middle East. We have to get Russia. They're losing 2,000 on average, 2,500 people today, young people, soldiers, Russian, thinking that 2,500 through some days, but on average, probably over about a 1 week period, it's 2,712, they say. They're losing those soldiers, dying, they're being decimated, and they're not from our country, but they're from other countries, but they're human beings. They're from Russia, they're from Ukraine in this period, most of them, and we're going to get it stopped. It's a senseless war that would have never happened if I was president, and it should be allowed to go on. And I think we're being given good cooperation by Russia and by Ukraine, but we have to get it stopped. It's humanity. It's humanity. It's a terrible thing. This will be a very big moment. I think you're going to remember today. It's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free, beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you can look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right, so here we go.
Thank you.
We're trying to go now. Oh, here we go. Let's see it. Oh, he's still got his 2020 hat on. Well, what about the, I thought he was going to sign the thing, right? Oh, okay.
This is Will, everybody. He's going to just give you a little bit of
Trump needs to start selling 2028 hats.
Good afternoon, y'all. We have two documents prepared for the president's signature today. One closes what's referred to as the de minimis loophole
De minimis?
with respect to imports from the People's Republic of China.
Ooh, China.
The other is the big one, is the reciprocal tariff executive order that the president just spoke about at length. This is obviously a huge deal, and it's been an honor to be a part of your team getting this ready for you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
All right.
This is big stuff.
Damn, y'all really can't figure out the camera? Really? That's crazy. How about that?
That's a 10. It's a good one. Look.
Yes,
That's
say
awesome.
10. Wow.
That's a good one. Gotcha.
They should release an ASMR video of Trump signing executive orders.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to hand out these pens now.
That'd be a good idea.
Come on over. Yeah.
They already did?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, it looks like the thing that he said he was going to do, he is doing. And not only is he doing it, but it looks like it is working. Mexico is not doing retaliatory tariffs either. It seems like there's a bunch of countries down with this. They said they were going to do it, but, you know, when it comes down to it, it doesn't happen. And really not that big of a surprise. And Xbox, Xbox. I'm not surprised about this. I don't think there's a lot of Trump fixed the council. Yeah, that's right. And I feel like you can't make. The thing is that the stock market messaging as an effective tool to make people think that these decisions are bad, because most people begin with because they don't have the capital. Like, these are people that don't have jobs that are good. They don't have capital. So, like, when the value of the company is going down, this isn't going to be relevant to them. What's relevant to them is how much are the groceries, how much is gas, how much
I'm
are these
saved.
things. So, you can make appeals
I just
to the
realized
stock
my
market,
life has been-
etc., but that's not what's going to really appeal to an average person. I'm telling you guys, that's what it's going to be, right? That's what it's going to be. You're not going to understand it. But if you talk to somebody that's like this, you will. And, yeah, Trump is really bad. We'll see what happens. But, let me get back. I'll get that back. People hate it. I don't know about everybody, but, like, there definitely are some. But, yeah, that's kind of what I think is going to happen. And it's going to continue happening, too. It's so dumb. Tariffs are a regressive tax. Why are there other countries doing it well? If there are regressive taxes and they're bad, then why are they doing it to us? You're going to see that retarded. Stop trading with America. Their entire economy is built off of America. If Trump cuts it off and doesn't do that, they're going to fall apart.
The moment I
And,
said,
it's
let's
gonna
see,
be a lot worse than any
knowing
tariff
how-
that we can do to them. That's it. And so anyway, yeah, it's just that's not what it's going to be. Not all countries, no, but so yeah, more massive. The thing is that he was in the values are different. And this is a big issue that a lot of people have, and a lot of these they're not able to really an average person. So a big thing for average people is that the value of stocks and the value of companies, like these prospective, like theoretical trillions of dollars, these numbers don't exist in the mind of an average person. This is all just like bullshit, fake, made-up numbers. What these people care about is the money in
That's the
and
book,
money
The
out
Goblin
on a
King
monthly
gift.
basis. And that's what really matters more than anything. And so, if that's what's changing and that's
One
what matters,
item. Why don't
then
you go
that's
visit
what's
the
really
skill
going to
instructor
appeal
on-
to an average audience of just like normal people, right? Yeah, it's everyone in 401ks. No, definitely, but there's a lot of people who don't even have that. And I'm watching you just to what stupid Americans think, to find out what they think. Yeah, that's it. And tariffs quite literally raise prices on actual goods, though.
The more skills you
Trump is
learn, the
basically-
stronger you
this
will
is what
become.
I think that he's doing is that you're absolutely right that tariffs will raise prices on the goods. Raise prices
More
on the
skills
goods,
you
and
learn,
all
the
tariffs do or punish their own citizens, then why do these countries threaten tariffs back at us?
Which
Well,
I
it's because
suppose
it can
we'll
be
find
used
her
as
in
a
her
weapon also. That's the reason why. So, obviously, like, people always keep using this argument, oh, well, Trump is using these tariffs, and, like, it's only going to hurt Americans. Well, if Trump is only going to hurt Americans with tariffs, then why are all these other countries, why were they peacocking around about putting tariffs back on us? Do they want to hurt their own citizens, too? Obviously not. But this clear, like, weird fucking distinction here, it's bad for
This
both.
tastes
I know.
horrible.
And that's
Did
the
you
truth,
really
is
think I would
it's
eat this
bad for both of them.
garbage?
And Trump is relying
Princess,
on these
we are
companies,
not in
companies,
Heidel anymore.
Ugh,
their risk aversion.
whatever.
Basically,
Just
this
finish
is
the
going to
job and
hurt
go
them
home.
more than it will hurt us, and they will be too afraid to hurt themselves that badly.
Why does this
they will
not-
let us
Do you-
take advantage of it, or in some way or another have a better or a more fair trade deal. That's it. And so that's basically what the goal. That well, sure.
Stop scaring
Well, why
them,
do you
my
think
boy.
Canada and
Keep
Mexico aren't going to do it now? And Vietnam isn't going to do it. Why do you think that is? Yeah, well, why? Like, I mean, it's obviously why.
gaming cred. Uh-oh. Here we go.
We are living in an unprecedented era in gaming right now. For the first time in the history of the world, the average gamer cred score has dropped.
Well,
to
first thing, I have a
0.25.
proposal for
If
you.
that number doesn't
What?
terrify you, I don't know what will. In today's society, we are surrounded on all sides by pretend gamers, people who pretend to be real gamers, but in reality have never played Super Mario Galaxy. You see, back in the Xbox Live Go.
You know who really got me fucked up about this was Techland. Because Techland was going on about how much he liked Stellar Blade. And he said he played Stellar Blade. And I said, did you actually play
Yeah, I
Stellar Blade?
understand.
He said, no, I played the demo for 10 minutes. Bro, these fake gamers makes me so fucking mad. Like, it's fake gamers. It's like, no, you didn't play it. Like, if you didn't beat half of the game, you didn't play the game. You can't play 10% of the game and say you beat the game. That's stolen valor. It is.
Golden era of gaming, everybody's gamer score was visible
Yeah.
to the public. You could just click on somebody's profile and see, okay, you beat Mile High Club on Veteran. This is an actual gamer. But today, they keep it all hidden because of course they do.
My favorite
That's
video
actually a good point, is that they should probably do that. You know how, like, you have, like, the credit score? We could make a website of, like, a gamer score. Maybe China can do that, right? Because they have that whole social credit score. So they can make a video game credit score. That's a good idea. There are the sports ball gamers. Their idea is to make 2K, they college. And that, yeah. Yeah,
Huge rant about video games. You could just tell from the look in his eye that he's never played Warcraft 3 in his entire life. Dude was just rage baiting. He's never played a Spyro game.
Without
in
your
his whole
aid,
life.
this would have
Tell
been
from
bloody
the
tough. I will be
that
waiting.
The man has never touched a single
Well-
game. Then he starts
See,
talking
this is the thing people get mad at me for, too, because I'm kind of in this boat. Like, I spend so much time only playing World of Warcraft that, like, I thought thousands. How about that? Like, really, like, and so, like, that was bad, right? And I felt like, you know,